Nine Sols is an action platformer developed by Red Candle Games, the Taiwanese studio behind Detention and Devotion. Set in a world combining Asian fantasy and science fiction elements, the game features hand-drawn animations and a combat system inspired by Sekiro. Shadows die twice. In this video, we'll cover the full story of Nine Sols. So grab a cookie and hot chocolate, sit back, and let's explore this world. We start off with a bit of backstory. Our main character, Yi, was actually in a deep slumber for 500 years. He's awakened by the sound of a flute played by a young boy named Shuanshuan. This kid stumbles upon Yi and brings him to live in Peach Blossom Village. Fast forward 2 years, and we find Yi and Shuanshuan have developed a close bond. Shuanshuan looks up to Yi as a big brother figure, and Yi's been teaching the kid all sorts of things, including how to cook. We join them as Shuanshuan's excitedly talking about showing off his new garlic noodle skills at dinner. But it's not all about food, there's something bigger brewing. Shuanshuan's on the hunt for a special flower called the Crimson Hibiscus. Turns out this flower is used in some kind of important ceremony. Yi, the cool big bro, decides to help Shuanshuan find it. As they're searching, we get a glimpse of the world they live in. There's talk of a festival market, bountiful harvests, and these mysterious beings called souls, who apparently bless their village. But here's the thing. Shuanshuan's been chosen for something called living with the gods. He's all excited about it, thinking he'll get to see his parents again. Yi, on the other hand, seems a bit uneasy about the whole thing. The night of the ceremony arrives, and that's when things really start to heat up. Yi decides to crash the party and rescue Shuanshuan. Turns out this whole living with the gods thing might not be as great as everyone thinks. It's actually a sacrifice. Say what? So, Yi understandably decides to step in and save his little bro with his lightning quick reflexes. This act of selflessness is not without its risks, however. Rui, Yi's personal AI assistant, warns him his display of power has likely alerted the Nine Sols. But Yi doesn't care. He wants access to the Council Code, a high-level access system that controls New Kunlun. Yi believes the current system under the Nine Sols is corrupt and needs to be reset. But to access the Council Code, Yi will need to collect all the soul seals from the Nine Sols. As Yi's exploring, we get these flashbacks to his childhood with his sister Heng. It's time for a trip down memory lane. Yi and Heng used to hang out near these giant rhizomatic columns, which are basically like super advanced batteries from the past. Young Yi is all about that science life, explaining to Heng how these columns could change everything if they were fixed up. It's clear that even as a kid, Yi was a bit of a tech genius. Now back to the present, and Yi's on the warpath to take down the souls, one by one, and so he goes to find his old buddy Kwafu. At first, Kwafu thinks Yi's an imposter. I mean, can you blame him? The guy's been MIA for 500 years. But after a tense moment, they have this heartfelt reunion. Turns out, Kwafu's been feeling pretty guilty about what went down 500 years ago. Yi, being the forgiving type, lets go of the past, and so the old friends team up. After discussing Yi's mission, Kwafu agrees to help Yi against the council, and so he gives Yi his soul seal. Yay, that's one seal down, and with no bloodshed. We also meet this quirky character named Chiyu. He's like a walking, talking encyclopedia with a thing for poetry. Chiyu's trying to convince Yi not to destroy everything, but Yi's not having it. And then there's Shenong, who's brewing up some seriously potent and potentially poisonous concoctions. So now Yi has set his sights on the next target, Yan Lao, the keeper of the Boundless Repository, But this isn't just any old storage unit, it's a massive warehouse filled with ancient artifacts and treasures. But before that, we get these touching flashbacks of Yi and his sister Heng. They used to hide in pickling jars, of all places, to read forbidden science books. Yi's always been a bit of a rebel, much to his parents' dismay. Back in the present, Yi finally reaches and confronts Yanlao. And this old timer is not going down without a fight. He's all about preserving the past and thinks Yi's just an ungrateful whippersnapper. But Yi's not listening. He sees the repository as a waste of space that could have been used to save more lives. The fight with Yanlao is intense. This old guy's got some tricks up his sleeve, including a crazy weapon called the Sky Rending Claw. But in the end, Yi's too much for him. Yanlao goes down and Yi snatches his soul seal.
滚吧，云雀仔！
After his victory, Yi relaxes with Shuanshuan back at their safe house. They're planting seeds, listening to ancient vinyl records, and trying to read some super boring science books. It's a post-apocalyptic family bonding session. After taking down Yanlao, our hero sets his sights on Gumong, the agricultural mastermind of the souls. And this lady's got some serious issues. She's all about control and manipulation, trying to justify her actions with some twisted logic about saving species and creating the perfect society. He's not having it though, and they duke it out in an epic showdown. But just when you think Yi's getting the hang of this soul-slaying business, Jiquan enters the scene. This guy's the ultimate sadist, and he's got a fight to pick with Yi. He lures our hero to his lair and, well, let's just say, it's not for a friendly cup of tea. Jiquan's got some seriously messed up ideas about pain and strength, and he puts Yi through the ringer. Meanwhile, we get more flashbacks to Yi's past. We see him working on the mystic nymph with his sister Heng, and it's clear that Yi's always been a bit of a science nerd. But his experiments don't always go as planned, and we start to see how his past actions might have led to his current situation. Back in the present, Yi manages to escape from Jiquan's torture chamber, but he's in pretty rough shape. He makes it back to the Four Seasons Pavilion, where Shuanshuan, Quafu, and the others are waiting for him. There's a lot of worry and some heated arguments about what to do next. Just when things seem to be calming down, news arrives that Peach Blossom Village is in trouble. Yi, being the hero he is, wants to rush off to help, but the others are worried about his condition and the overall plan. It's a classic hero's dilemma. Save the village or stick to the mission. Oh, and remember that mysterious tree Shuanshuan planted? Well, it's growing fast, and Yi's starting to get a bit nervous about it. But now it's revenge time. He finds Jiquan to get back at him for that earlier whooping, but our hero is not above fighting dirty. He uses the gene eradicator to weaken Jiquan, giving himself an advantage in the fight by disrupting Jiquan's enhanced abilities. An intense showdown ensues, and Yi emerges victorious. Afterwards, Yi receives an ancient melody after Shunshuan's flute performance. The ballad is described as coming from the Daybreak Tower and is said to contain stories and secrets from ancient times. Interesting that our little ape man would know such a tune, We also get to see Yi playing the role of savior for the Peach Blossom villagers. Some of them are treating him like he's the second coming, while others, looking at you, Shenong, are still skeptical. But let's get back to the main story now. Yi finds himself face to face with Lady Ethereal in what looks like a bathhouse. Yep, that's right. But don't be fooled by the bubbles. Lady Ethereal's not there to trade beauty tips. She traps Yi in her soulscape, a virtual dream world she created. And Lady Ethereal's not exactly in her right mind, bouncing between cheerful hostess and guilt-ridden scientist. Yi's trying to snap her out of it, but she's not making it easy. Yi finally manages to break through to Lady Ethereal. She's been beating herself up over some failed experiments and the whole soulscape mess. Yi, being the stand-up guy he is, tries to comfort her. But let's be real, he's also there for that soul seal. Meanwhile, we get some more flashbacks of Yi and his sister Heng. He was working on this thing called the Mystic Nymph, but something went wrong and the experiment went boom. Yi ended up having to save Heng from the explosion. Tragically, he was critically injured with little chance of survival. But in a twist, Heng began to cry over his body. And due to her connection with the Primordial Roots, Yi was miraculously revived. Back to the present. After that intense battle with Lady Ethereal, Yi snags the Soul Seal, but he's not out of the woods yet. There's some weird stuff going on with the root node back at the Four Seasons Pavilion. And then we meet Ji. This guy's been around forever and doesn't seem to age. He's got some cryptic warnings for Yi, because apparently it's not a proper fantasy adventure without some vague prophecies. Oh, and we get more flashbacks of Yi arguing with his parents about leaving Penglai. You know, family drama. Turns out Ji's not just old, he's ancient. Like, I've seen civilizations rise and fall ancient. Yi's pretty shocked to learn that Ji's been around since before the Fangshi Guild was even a thing. But Ji's not just here for a stroll down memory lane. Nope, he's got a soul seal, and Yi wants it. Cue an epic battle where Ji pulls out all the stops, using his centuries of knowledge to put up one heck of a fight. But our boy Yi's got skills too, and in the end, he manages to snag that soul seal. After this encounter, Yi has another flashback about his sister Heng. They discuss the nature of life and death, with Heng expressing a more accepting view of mortality. But Yi struggles to understand her perspective. Afterwards, Yi confronts his next target, Nuwa, about the state of the Empyrean district. He questions her about the ongoing parties and celebrations, despite the apocalyptic conditions outside. Nuwa dismisses his concerns, insisting that everything is fine and that their eternal party is the best way to cope with their situation. After a tense confrontation, Yi manages to get both their soul seals, but what he finds is pretty disturbing. Yi discovers that Fuxi and Nuwa, the twin souls, have been up to some shady business. Fuxi's been dead for a while, and Nuwa's been keeping him alive with some questionable treatments. Back at base, the whole district's turned into a nightmare, with mutated monsters running amok. Ruyi and Kwafu are working overtime to figure out what's causing these mutations. They create a nifty device called the Super Mutant Buster to help Yi deal with these new threats. Meanwhile, back at the Four Seasons Pavilion, Shuanshuan's been busy playing mad scientist with the giant tree he's growing. It's getting so tall, they're worried about how to trim the top branches. Yi's solution? Just let it grow and deal with problems as they come. Classic. Kwafu reveals to Yi that the Dust Guardians are Solarians infected with Tianhuo who've been maintaining New Kunlun's operations for 500 years while passengers slept. They report directly to Eigong, but have mysteriously vanished recently. So now it's time to face the final boss, Eigong. Yi confronts Eigong in her soulscape. Eigong expresses disappointment in Yi's actions, lamenting how he's changed from the curious, science-loving student she once knew. Yi accuses Eigong of betraying her own principles, insisting that people have a right to the truth. He argues there are things more important than mere survival, while Eigong counters that without life, everything returns to nothingness. Eigong defends her actions, claiming that truth and lies mean nothing compared to saving Solarian lives. She criticizes Yi's plan to wake everyone up, arguing it would lead to their deaths back on Penglai. Eigong tries to justify her actions, saying she's spent centuries trying to make amends for past mistakes. She claims she's the only one who can make things right, but Yi dismisses this, seeing it as a personal vendetta. As the conversation becomes heated, Eigong challenges Yi to a battle, reminding him of the first key point from the Fangshi art of war. All warfare is based on deception. And so the final showdown begins. Meanwhile, we get these heart-wrenching flashbacks of Yi and his sister Heng. We learn that Yi left Heng behind when he went to New Kunlun, and it's been eating him up inside ever since. Finally, it's showdown time. Yi faces off against Eigong one last time, and she's gone full mad scientist. She's all, "We're going to evolve into immortal beings." And Yi's like, "Not on my watch." It's the ultimate battle of ideals, with the fate of all Solarians hanging in the balance. Eigong's gone and infected the Primordial Roots, which is pretty much the worst thing that could happen. This forces Yi to make a difficult decision. Depending on the player's choice, there are two endings. In the normal ending, Yi kills Eigong and obtains the remaining soul seals. He takes control of New Kunlun and returns to Penglai. The remaining Solarians are still in hibernation, with human brains being used to power the virtual reality. The Tianhuo virus remains at large, and it is unknown if there will be a cure. In the true ending, Yi deepens his connection with Shuanshuan and other humans and chooses to save them. He evacuates and sends them back to Earth before confronting Eigong. During the battle, Eigong fuses with the Primordial Roots. Yi chooses to destroy New Kunlun, sacrificing himself and the remaining Solarians in the process, effectively ending the Tianhuo virus. He reunites with his sister Heng in the afterlife. And that is a wrap on 9 Souls. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Tau Punk universe. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you loved it, and let me know in the comments what other games you would like me to cover next. See ya!